I'm fairly certain that we're not just here together to keep each other company. We're here together to show each other God. The portal is each other. In other words, our experience of the mystical realms is often far more depthful and inclusive if we ride the energy of love connection into the great unknown. Yikes, I'm terrified to dive in. To not dip into that pool is to both deny yourself the benefits of something very real and to hold your marriage back. I don't see it as being held back. I feel that Hannah has unrealistic expectations. I'm a solo traveler. She knew that when she got into this. I don't want to go too far into attachment, into the complexity of human relatedness. I'll lose my connection to my core. Isn't it safe to say that some people's purpose in this life is more individualistic than relational? To each their path, no? Yes, to each their path. You always have the right to choose your path, but Hannah also has the right to challenge your resistance to intimacy, particularly in the context of marriage. Yeah, she does, but I do feel that there's value in the relationship. I just can't seem to give her what she wants. If it was just one issue, for example, working on the shadow stuff that comes up between us, that would be manageable. But when you add the baby conflict, it takes me over the edge and I feel like running away. It's interesting that she took off, given that I was often the one to urge to flee. I can relate, as I was often a runner in a relationship. I ran for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it was a healthy flight. I wasn't ready to love. I had other priorities. I had preparation work to do before I could deeply connect. But sometimes I ran for unhealthy reasons. I imagined every woman my difficult mother. I associated family with trauma from early life. I assumed love meant imprisonment. Distinguishing between healthy and unhealthy motivations took me many years, but it may have been the most important clarification work I did on my life's journey. Because of our fight from connection is motivated by our unresolved life history, our defenses can convince us to run for the rest of our lives. And then we lose the opportunity to taste a different reality, one that meets our needs and heals our hearts. It's worth examining. Am I running to something better, or am I running away from something unresolved? Am I retreating to heal, or am I simply delaying my liberation? Good questions. I suspect that my resistance, which is a form of running away, is delaying my liberation. But when it comes to having a child, I honestly don't believe I can handle the triggers that would arise in two primary connections in my life. I'm just beginning to heal my own stuff. Hannah and I already have a lot of pain rising between us. We have so much work to go through. I don't feel I can handle another being, especially one I feel forever responsible for. One is enough. I hear you, but still, you have a lot. You have good connection. Why haven't you left that? Why is that? Despite the way this all sounds, there's a lot of light in the connection. When we came together, there was an unmistakable knowing. It was undeniable. There was this fierce magnetism, as if two cosmic forces propelled us together to land in this time and space. My knowing to be with Hannah was one of the few guiding lights of my life. Should I just throw it away? Well, divorce is an option, my friend. Whoa, wait a minute. How'd we go from discussing my relational challenges to divorce in 30 minutes? I didn't say anything about divorce. I was just laying down my perspective. I didn't say that there wasn't room to grow. I've been making progress. Well, I'm a little surprised by how you're reacting, Michael. Your ideologies and your feelings aren't lining up. Help me understand. Where's your desire to keep the connection alive coming from? The benefits it's bringing you on your individual path, or some deeper sense of the two of you have a specific destiny or purpose together. Isn't it possible that both can be true? Perhaps. It seems challenging to hold and maintain both, the individual path and the co-creative. I just don't know. In fairness to you, few do. Few of us know how to hold love safe. Few of us are trained in the art of love. The entire world has been organized around masks and defenses. Adaptation and disguise are our specialty. It's all we can do to manage our individual material. But love is a different world, an unmasked, surrendered, naked landscape that few of us have explored with any great depth. It's complex, co-creational terrain that challenges us at every turn. Even the spiritual community has neglected it. Millions of books and scriptures have been written about the individual path to God, and so very few about the relational path. As a result, it's very easy for most of us to articulate concepts, but the hearticulate feelings is another planet altogether. We are only at the beginning of our enheartened way. We haven't yet downloaded the ways of the heart. There is so much left to learn. The end. Thank you. Wow, 4 minutes in front of people just reading. What y'all think? Cool. You interested in another one? Awesome. Western consciousness. I still feel on the whole, it is more evolved to withdraw from the muckiness of our dualistic aspects and reside in the great beyond, at least until it's safer for humans to come back down and work within the dualities. At this stage, it's just too brutal down here. Michael, can you be open to the possibility that your intensive spiritual work could be all to avoid and escape the underlying fact that it is too brutal down here? Is it possible that there is a driving force behind your quest? I feel it is much more complicated than that. How so? Because I may have initially gone on the quest for that reason, but I have come to many realizations along the way that support this way of being. Through my lived experience, it is not all about avoidance. It's about advancement. I've seen the light. Yes, and you've sidestepped to the dark. You've already acknowledged that that this is fundamental to your pattern. True, I've made that admission. Back to your original statement that it feels more evolved to pull out of the muckiness of our dualistic aspects until it's safer for humans to drop back down and work within the dualities. How will humanity arrive there if we don't actively and intentionally heal our world? Perhaps it's for some of us to do the work you describe and for others to do different kind of work. Some get in the trenches and grunt it out. Others elevate their consciousness and pray for humanity. Yes, prayers are fine, but activism is just as essential. In one meditation movement, they have 2-year prayer-a-thons, hundreds of them praying for the well-being of humanity, while right outside the temple, their fellow humans stand begging for a meal. Enough of this detached, emotionally safe versions of connection. Better to be a living prayer and bring yourself the benevolent intentions into grounded action. Better to spend 5 minutes feeding a homeless person than 2 years in meditation. Take to the streets and connect with lonely humans. Offer a blanket to someone who is cold. Hug the world. That's a much more effective way to co-create world peace. Meditation in action. Who doesn't need a hug, right? Yes, but you speak often of purpose. Perhaps some of us exist to get down and dirty in the world, while others exist to detach from the world and elevate their consciousness. Ever hear of the 100th monkey phenomenon? Okay, Monkey G, to practice detachment and bring back some tools to humanity, sure, but not to remain out there while the world burns. You're needed, we're all needed. Our purpose does not exist in isolation from humanity. You are missing the significance of meaning of the individual birth, the magnificent gifts, abilities, callings, and offerings we're each here to bring forth to the world. And thy not true and worthy of acknowledgement and expression? Are we to ignore these unique gifts and find our purpose in an amorphous field of consciousness? Our combined gifts of expression from an intricate web of co-creation that ripples through the world, each playing their part. That's the 100th monkey. There's less pain, less war, less chaos, less destruction. It's transcendence. No, just lots of repression, which ultimately means more pain and war. And even if we accept that the transcendence is a more painless path, it's also a more a more joyless path. As we discussed earlier, you can't turn off the tap of feeling in only one regard. It's either all on or all off altogether. You can't have it both ways. How then do you reconcile your belief in the magnificence of individual self with the idea that we are all one? I do find this perplexing. By accepting that both are true, both are fundamental to our experience of holiness. We don't have to choose one awareness. We can integrate both. Yes, we are connected. Yes, we are all part of oneness, and yet we are not the same. I am not you, you are not another me. Every soul has a unique role to play in this dance of sacred imagination. Thank you.